Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs from One West and breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple and white, all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the ISUPK like your weird, misunderstood Sabbath. You shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the ISUPK. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, a.k.a. Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
Ain't nobody crying loud no more. Streets too quiet. Feel like God closed the door. Used to hear the truth in every corner. Now it's war. Now I ride through the block like where the prophets go. I miss your voice. I miss your voice. I miss your voice. Used to echo through the pavement. Preaching truth, not entertainment. Now the corner's vacant. Used to hear repent die. See destruction on the rise. All the ruins went inside. Miss your voice. See, I was crying for the nation. Warning us by damnation. Laugh while I was hating. Now I see floods, fire, and war. Ain't nobody teaching no more. The world done changed when y'all left the door. I miss your voice. You supposed to write there on Saturday. Seen the prophets like the front of us. Bobbling they heads, speaking heat like it was gun time. They ain't care who hated them. They love us more than comfort. Warning all the gangs. They even preached the baby mother. Told us Babylon would burn. And now it's matching every vision. Told us trust the Most High. And not the system of religion. They ain't asked for nothing back. They just cried out up in them trench. And now the silence got me anxious. Like a trumpet missing pictures. Oh, I miss your voice. Need you now. I miss your voice, used to echo through the pavement. Preaching truth, not entertainment. Now the corner's vacant, used to hear repent die. Now it's just shots and sirens fire. Looking at destruction on the rise. All the real ones went inside. I miss your voice, y'all was crying for the nation. And warning us by damnation. Laugh while y'all was hating. Now I see floods, fire, and war. Ain't nobody teaching no more. The world done changed when y'all left the door. Miss your voice. Remember seeing fringes in the summer heat. Scriptures flying faster than the gossip on the street. Keep the laws and repent. Man, them niggas say that with their chest. People stay to see you. Now we living in regret. They call them crazy, call them ghosts, but them brothers shoulders old. Now the corner's filled with ghosts, and them young ones selling dope. They was out here still. I know a couple would've changed, but the prophets got pulled back. We walking through the flame. I see judges in the sky. Ain't no one is left to cry. He gave signs, gave it time, but we played and lived their lives. Now I pray he show me mercy, cause I see what's coming near. And the voice of the prophets ain't ringing in my ear. I miss your voice, used to echo through the pavement. Preaching truth, not entertainment. Now the corner's vacant, used to hear repent die. Now it's just shots and sirens flying by. Looking at destruction on the rise. All the real ones went inside. I miss your voice, I was crying for the nation. Warning us about damnation. Laugh while y'all was hating. Now I see floods, fire, and war. Ain't nobody teaching no more. The world done changed when y'all left the door. I miss your voice. Hope you can't say no gone, man.
All right, let's clap it up. Shalom, Israel. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. The Monday night scripture breakdown class, like you might pulling up the chat. The Monday night scripture breakdown class, where we do what your Christian pastors have been ill-equipped to do for hundreds of years, which is teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible. I mean, that's why that's the reason why they ill-equipped is because they learned from your oppressor. The whole point of your Christian pastors being put in place is to teach you a lie, is to teach you what your oppressor wants you to know, what your oppressor wants you to believe, so that you can be a better slave. So they were never, your Christian pastors, they were never equipped. You know what I mean? That's why when you go into the doctrine of what every Christian church teaches, what every Catholic church teaches, or whatever, even if you haven't been in that Christian church, even if you don't call yourself a quote unquote Christian, you still have Christian ideals. Is because you learned from them. You learned from that Christian church who was taught through supervised plantation churches to teach you how to be a perfect slave. All right. But here in the ISUPK, we've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American the truth according to the Bible since 1969. So that, you know what I mean, you can actually understand what's going on. Not only can you understand what's going on in the Bible and what the truth of the matter is as far as like these scriptures, but you can understand what's going on around you. Because right now it's very important for us to for us to be able to see the signs of the times and understand what's, you know what I mean, what's going on, because the signs of the times is what's going to help you be able to understand what's about to happen. You know what I mean? And trust me, it's a lot that's about to happen. You know what I mean? For the sakes of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But if we not right, you know what I mean, the Lord is not the Lord. You know what I mean, Lord is not finna send Christ, who is a black man who taught brothers and sisters how to be perfect while he was perfect. You know what I mean, and gave his life for people that, you know what I mean, that wasn't perfect, that should have lost their own life. You know what I mean? He's the Most High is not gonna send Christ back for a nation of, you know what I mean, OnlyFans models and drug dealers and drug addicts and Democrats and Republicans and Christians and Christian pastors and Catholic priests and what's it called? What's the small hat man? Like what's his name? Amari Stoudemire. You know what I mean, he's not sending his son back to redeem a nation of people who is attached to another nation of people. All right. So with that, if you got any questions or comments, you can always put them in the chat, and you can always put all your questions and comments in the chat, and we'll answer them. And make sure before we get started, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel, share it with your loved ones, whether you agree or disagree. You know what I mean? Share it with them. I mean, y'all get up in here if you disagree. You know what I mean? State your claim, speak your piece. And if you happen to be watching this and we not live, then you can hit that QR code in that top corner. And morning, noon, and night, there'll be a brother in that chat to answer all your questions and solve all your problems, if you want your problem solved, and if you want the answer to your questions. All right. With that, Slaki, you got any question before we get started? Okay, no sweat. Let's go to all right. So the topic for tonight's class is we're gonna be dismantling the lies and the you know what I mean, the beliefs of what, you know what I mean, not only not the Christian church, but you know what I mean, your Christian Israelite groups and brothers and sisters who, you know what I mean, they may be sincere. You know what I mean, it might be brothers and sisters sincerely trying to, you know what I mean, figure out how to serve the Lord and come back to our culture. But the problem is there's so many from the outside looking in. You know what I mean, the ISUPK is the home of the truth, established since 1969. There's been no other school or no other, you know what I mean, there's been no other school established before then. And every other school, every other Christian Israelite group is a breakoff of breakoffs of schools, you know what I mean, that came out of or from brothers who left ISUPK and started doing their own thing. I mean, we're gonna get to the as a matter of fact, go to that John 11 real quick. and I think start at 40, 45. But because of verse 45. But because of the Christian church, because of, you know what I mean, because of all of these Christian Israelite groups, brothers and sisters who may be sincere in trying to serve the Lord and trying to, you know what I mean, come back to our culture, you know what I mean, and separate from our oppressors' culture, you first got to weed through. It's a whole bunch of BS that you got to weed through. I mean, before you could even, you know what I mean, come into the truth. And this is the spirit. This is the spirit that they in. Real quick, read what you got real quick.
The book of John, chapter 11, verse 45. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did, believe on him.
Okay, so this is right after. This is right after Christ just raised Lazarus from the dead, right? And it was brothers and sisters that saw him do this thing. Like I believe, if you read up a little further, you know what I mean, that you know what I mean, he made it known that he prayed to the Most High like he always did. He always communicated with the Most High to, you know what I mean, with everything that he was doing, and he did it, you know, out loud for the sake of, as a matter of fact. But he said he did it out loud for the sake of the brothers and sisters around, so that they could know that, you know what I mean, it's the Most High, right? So it was brothers and sisters that seen it, and they seen him raise this man from the dead who was dead and stinking for 3 days. And then read on.
Verse 46. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees.
So it was brothers and sisters after Christ just raised the man from the dead. You know what I mean, dead and stinking for 3 days, raised him up. It was some that seen the things that he did and believed on him, but some of them went their ways to the Pharisees. You know what I mean, go ahead. Now, why? Well, go ahead, read on. We're gonna get to the bottom of it.
And told them what things Yahushua had done.
Mm-hmm. Now, why you think that they told the Pharisees the things that Yahushua had done? Go ahead and go read the next verse.
Verse 47. Then gathered the chief priest and the Pharisees a council, and said, What do we? For this man doeth many miracles.
See, when the chief priests of the Pharisees got wind of what Christ was doing, they started to be fearful. They started to worry about them losing their seat. They was worried that they was, you know what I mean? Because their whole purpose, like we was talking about earlier, your Christian pastors, they weren't put in place. They weren't put in place to teach you the truth. You know what I mean? They claim to be the biblical authority over black, especially, you know what I mean, them black Christian churches. They claim to be the biblical authority of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, but they were never put in place to, you know what I mean, to teach you the truth according to the Bible. They were put in place to teach you lies. And in exchange for them teaching you those lies, they were put in a position that was slightly above you, but still, you know what I mean, a slave. And that's what your Christian pastors don't realize. But because, you know what I mean, because of captivity and because of cowardice and because of, you know what I mean, your press or your Christian pastors are willing to throw you under the bus to do what they think is saving their own skin. You know what I mean, because the radicals, you know what I mean, you got Nat Turner, I mean, anybody who read the Bible and saw that the things that was being taught in the Christian church wasn't what was actually in the Bible, your Christian or your oppressor, they was lynched, they was castrated, they was devoured, literally, you know what I mean, by your oppressor. And before they even was devoured by your oppressor, they had your oppressor did some diabolical things to Nat Turner. They made him eat his own parts, you know what I mean? And so that's where you get, you know what I mean, that's where you get these coons from, where in this, for the sake of saving their own skin, for the sake of trying to receive a little crumb from our oppressor, they gonna continue to roll with the blatant lie that your oppressor taught them. So that's what you got right here, where Christ literally raising a man from the dead, and you would think that you see a man get raised. I don't know if you ever seen a man get raised from the dead before, but I imagine if you see a man who you think is dead and laying there and stinking, and a brother, a black man like you, who was raised in a ghetto like you know what I mean, raising from the dead, you would think that you would just believe on him and follow him and do what he tell you to do. You know what I mean? When he, but that's not what these people did. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 48. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him.
Uh-huh.
And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
Yeah, that'd be an excellent thing if brothers could just believe on the things that Christ said and believe the things that Christ did. And I mean, he said that you would do greater things. You know what I mean, it would make sense for us to just believe those things. But if brothers and sisters actually believe the things that's in this Bible, if brothers and sisters actually believe, then you know, I mean, a Christian pastor has to lose his seat. Your Catholic priest has to lose their seat. Muslim imams who claim to be, you know what I mean, where, you know what I mean, black, Hispanic, or black people are especially are flooding into the, you know what I mean, the Muslim religion. You know what I mean, they would have to lose their seat. So for the sake of keeping their seat in this hell, for the sake of them being just a little bit above, you know what I mean, the poor black Hispanics and Native Americans, where they could take your money, even though you poor, you living in the ghettos and the barrios and in, you know what I mean, on reservations, you living in apartments with roaches and rats in the walls. And I mean, you know the conditions that we live in, you know what I mean, Chicago, and in Houston, and in Dallas, and in, you know what I mean, you name whatever hood that you grew up in. I mean, those conditions, your Christian pastors are able to make themselves just a little bit higher than you, where instead of, you know what I mean, they not in rulership, but instead of being in the ghetto with you, you know what I mean, they get to live amongst their oppressor, where they still get treated and looked at as nothing, as, you know, as niggas, but they get to make themselves just a little bit above you, all for the sake of keeping their seat with the Romans. And the Romans are, you know what I mean, the Romans is who's running America. You know what I mean, Italians and the you know what I mean, your Spaniards and the Europeans that came over and colonized blacks, Hispanic, or colonized America, stole the land from America, bought so-called African Americans who are not Africans from the Hamites who sold you into captivity. They're the ones who's running America. And those are the same ones who we were in captivity under in this time in the book of John, chapter 11. And just like there's people who placate to our oppressor to have a seat in this hell, in this empire, there were people back then who were placating to our oppressor to have that same seat. But what you don't realize, let's go to Isaiah 66 real quick. But what they don't realize is that seat is temporary, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean, Christ is gonna come and claim everything. I mean, you think you got a seat with the Romans? You think you got a seat with Donald Trump by voting for the Republicans, voting for the Democrats? You think you got a seat with Joe Biden and Obama? You think you got a seat with, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, whatever party or whatever wing that you align yourself with, you think you got a seat. America is falling. Babylon is falling. Babylon, the great whore that sits on many waters, is going to fall, as prophesied. Just like it was prophesied that you was going to go into captivity if you didn't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, if you didn't follow your culture, if you wanted to serve your oppressors' gods, and, you know what I mean, all the things that you see us do in America. Just like it was prophesied that we would go into captivity, and it was prophesied that if we follow our law, statutes, and commandments, if we keep our culture, and if we separate ourselves from our oppressor, that we will be blessed. And all of those curses that you see in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, that happened to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Those prophecies that say Babylon, the great whore is fallen, those are going to happen as well. So brothers and sisters fighting for a seat in America, I mean, that's you hustling backwards. Go ahead to verse 7. Go ahead to verse 17. And that's what you got to understand about your oppressor, or it's like not your oppressor, your these Christian pastors. These Christian pastors, these Catholic priests, Muslim imams, your these Christian Israelite groups. When the topic for tonight is we're gonna talk about the Sabbath, but the reason why that's so controversial, or it seems to be so controversial anyway, in the in the I don't even know what to call it. I don't want to call it the Israelite community, but amongst these Christian Israelite groups is because they only want a reason to be able to hurt one another. They want a reason, and that's the exact same spirit that we was in back here. Go ahead, read what you got.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 17. Then they sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, in the midst, eating swine's flesh.
Wait, read verse 1 real quick. So, verse 3.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 3. He that killeth an ox is as if he slew a man. He that sacrificed a lamb, as he cut off a dog's neck. He that offered a oblation, as if he offered swine's blood. He that burneth incense, as if he blessed an idol.
See, this is talking everything that's being named right here is things that's supposed to be, they're supposed to be clean to the Most High. From the frankenmurder incense, the ox and the lamb and the what does it say? The lamb, the ox, all of those things is part of the the practices that the priest would do. You know what I mean? But us doing those things now, the priests, it's as if you might as well, you make it, you killing the ox, you might as well just kill the man. You know what I mean? You slaughter a lamb, you might as well put a dog on the altar and cut it open. You know what I mean? And that's how we've become. That's how, the Lord's chosen people has become. And that's why, that's why go ahead and finish to read the rest of that.
Yeah, they have chosen their own ways, and their souls delight in their abominations.
Right. So because we immediately going into the wilderness, not long after we went into the wilderness, we was building idols. We was trying to, we were building idols to serve, and we rebelled against, Moses and the men that he put, in charge as often as we could. Go down to verse 17 again. You know what I mean? And that's what you see today. You know what I mean? This the so-called holiday season, where even though you ask any Black, Hispanic, and Native American, or you ask any Black person or Hispanic if they, if they love the Most High, they're gonna be like, yeah, I love the Most High. Yeah, do you love your people? Do you love Black people? Yeah, I love my people. Black is beautiful. They're gonna say a whole the whole social media rhetoric. But yeah, Black is beautiful. We kings. We saying all of that. Like we rock with one another. And you ask them if they, what they feel about the Native Americans. They be like, yeah, it was terrible what happened to the Native Americans. And a lot of Black and Hispanic brothers and sisters gonna say that they got some Native American blood in them. They all throughout the year, I'm I got Blackfoot and Cherokee, I got Seminole, I got this Native American blood in me, this, that, and the third. But then on the fourth Thursday of November, all of that goes out the window. You know what I mean? Read that again, verse 17.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 17. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens beyond behind one tree, in the midst, eating swine's flesh.
Doing what?
Eating swine's flesh.
So these people that sanctify themselves, you know what I mean, these, you look at your TD Jakes, your Creflo Dollars, your Glorilla Shebrews, and your whatever, you insert any Christian Israelite group leader, you know what I mean, where they sanctify themselves, where they look like they had the appearance as if they keeping the Lord's feast days, and they understand these scriptures, and they putting out the appearance that they, you know what I mean, they keeping the law and all of these different things, and counseling brothers and all of that. But then behind closed doors, behind every tree, they eating swine's flesh. You know what I mean? Brothers is claim to be leaders over men, over brothers and sisters' lives and families. You know what I mean? And you behind closed doors getting bent over by your woman. And now you gotta try to justify using the Bible why it's okay for you to get pegged by your woman, but then that same Bible you trying to use to hurt other brothers, especially when it comes to the Sabbath, where you got brothers and sisters in the dark and the cold on Saturday. You know what I mean? You can't fire up the oven, you can't turn your car on, you can't. I mean, the list goes on and on. But that's the whole point, man. Where brothers will put themselves in power and claim that they'll use the Bible and put themselves in power and claim that they're doing something monumental, doing something honorable. But the whole point, the whole spirit behind what they're doing is they just want a reason to be able to hurt somebody. They want a reason to be able to persecute somebody. Whole time they themselves have reason to be persecuted. Like if you use their logic, you know what I mean? If you use their logic and say that you should be persecuted for, you know what I mean, lighting the oven on the Sabbath day, or cooking, you know what I mean, cooking for your children, or lighting up the fireplace, or whatever the case is, then what you think should happen to you for you getting bent over for your woman? You know what I mean? What you think should happen to you for you know what I mean, for what Nasty Nate, you know what I mean, persecuting brothers and sisters, falsely accusing brothers, and falsely having brothers falsely arrested, and being responsible for the unaliving of Joy Morgan. What do you think should happen to them? But they never think about that, because their main goal is to hurt you. You know what I mean? That's the whole spirit behind that. That's why they hold, like, let me see if I can find this. But that's why the scriptures say, you know what I mean, they you know what I mean, they strain at a gnat, but they, what is it? Salakia. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But they look at the small things. You just trying to bake some bread. You just trying to feed your family. You just trying to stay warm. You know what I mean? It's getting cold. You know what I mean? It get cold around this time of year. You just trying to stay warm. Make sure your newborn baby don't, you know what I mean, freeze over and get sick. Make sure your family is taken care of. But a brother will persecute you for lighting that oven, turning that oven on. Whole time they behind closed doors blowing rod, and, you know what I mean, assaulting little boys and sleeping with other men's women, and it's ridiculous, man. Is anything in the?
Oh, yeah.
I see a whole bunch of.
Yeah, what? Yeah, one comment.
Just one comment?
Kind of one comment.
Okay.
They say, just the history of the church and slave interactions should be enough for every black and brown person to run from the church. They chained blacks in the basement during service. Full stop. It says, full stop, not of God.
Oh. I mean, you would think that it would be that simple. You would think it would be that simple. You would think that just looking at the history of the Christian church, looking at the history of America, looking at the history of You know what I mean? Just the police force, the military. You would think that that would be enough for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to withdraw their spirit from this place. You would think that that would be enough. But go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7 real quick. And this is what you see, and this is why this nonsense goes on. Because all your again, you would think that it would make sense for you to just withdraw from this place. You see them, they didn't, you know, what I mean, they didn't force themselves. They're women, their men forced themselves on our men and buck broke our men. You know what I mean? To destroy the family structure, turned our women against us. You know what I mean? Assaulted the women in front of the men. You know what I mean? And took the life of the strong men to instill fear in the brothers, you know what I mean, who wasn't quite as strong, you know what I mean, physically or spiritually or whatever the case was. And they just did all sorts of diabolical things, you know what I mean, cutting the babies out of our sisters' stomachs and stomping on the baby and hanging the sister and doing all of these things publicly as well. Doing all of these things, you would think that this history that you experience in America, you would think that that will be enough for brothers and sisters to withdraw themselves. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I think every Christian or every Catholic, I mean, you talk about the Catholic Church or the Christian Church, and you know that there's scandal after scandal with the Christian pastor who claims to be the authority of you know what I mean, claims to teach the Bible, claims to be an authority sent from God to, you know what I mean, teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the Bible. And then you find out that the whole time they've been essaying your children, or they've been sleeping with your women. You know what I mean? You would think that would be enough for brothers and sisters to withdraw themselves from the Christian church and the Catholic church. You know what I mean, you would think the reputation of these Christian Israelite groups, you would think that would be enough to withdraw themselves from these places. But read verse 7 real quick.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
So oppression makes you mad. You should, you know what I mean? Oppression, if you're wise, when you see the oppression of your people, when you see the destruction of your people, when you see the persecution of your people for doing menial things, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean, going to the grocery store and feeding your family. You know what I mean, for turning the heat on in your house during the winter. When you see brothers and sisters being persecuted for doing these necessary things for your survival that are absolutely lawful to the Most High, that should, if you're wise, that should make you mad. That should make you angry. That should infuriate you when you see Donald Trump kicking in the doors of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans all together. You know what I mean? And mass deporting, mass incarcerating, and, you know what I mean, encouraging your police force and the military to be extra violent to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. When you see those things, that should make you mad. That should infuriate you. Seeing young babies being zip tied and thrown in the back of budget rental vans that any Joe with $40 in a driver's license can get. You know what I mean? Or pepper spraying infants. Those things should make you mad. But read that again. Read the last part.
And a gift destroyed the heart.
But you know why that doesn't mean anything to brothers and sisters in America who still vote? You know what I mean? Brothers is getting snatched out of their homes innocently, without a trial, without due process. You know what I mean? None of that. They just get snatched up, thrown in the back of a rental van, separated from their families. All of these different things. The reason why that's not, even after you see all of those things, you see brothers wearing "Make America Great" hats and voting for, you know what I mean, claiming that they you know what I mean, a Republican, or, you know what I mean, Democrat, or whatever political party you align yourself with. You see all of these things, but you could still align yourself with this government. You know what I mean? You go to the border and you see you'll see a brother or sister. You'll see a brother or sister whose parents came over here, or who came over here illegally. You know what I mean? According to America, even though this, of course, used to belong to America, to Mexico, to the Mexicans who they're trying to say are illegal immigrants, even though they stole this land. So there's no bigger illegal immigrant than your oppressor. But you'll see a brother or sister whose parents were immigrants from Mexico that came over here and made sure they could be born here legally, made sure that they could have a better life than the life that they're fleeing from in Mexico. And then that same brother or sister will grow up and then become the border patrol and keep brothers and sisters, keep their own family, keep their grandparents and their cousins and their uncles and aunts and their mothers and fathers out. You know what I mean? Because read that last part again.
And a gift destroyed the heart.
Because that gift, that's how you destroy the heart of, I mean, that's how you create a slave. That's how you create a perpetual slave. That's how you create a coon. That's how you create the illusion in the minds of, you know what I mean, of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, that's how you create the illusion in the minds of our people that we're not in hell. We're not in slavery. You know what I mean, you give a brother, a sister the ability to buy. You know what I mean, you look at these celebrities, Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, Nick Cannon. I mean, brothers who had the, you know what I mean, who had the courage to claim their identity that they were Jews, or even suggested. I think Kyrie Irving, I don't even think he said anything. He just shared a documentary. You know what I mean, suggesting that Black people were the real Jews. You know what I mean, that's how you see those things where you give a brother, you give these celebrities the ability to get a Rolls Royce, give them the ability to get them a, you know what I mean, a little condo in a gated community, or they might have a little mansion, or they might have a little bit of money to where they can make some moves. But then the moment that they mention, the moment that they actually start telling the truth according to the Bible, they start talking about, you know what I mean, the Jews are Black. They, you know what I mean, or suggesting that, like Kanye said, he didn't even say you not the real Jew. He just said I'm Jew too. You know what I mean, the Jewish man, the small hats, they try to monopolize on the term anti or Semitism. You know what I mean? They try to monopolize on that and try to make it all about them. But if you go back into the lineage, you know what I mean, Jacob, who is the progenitor of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and Esau, who is the progenitor of the so-called white man, who is claiming to be the Jews at this moment, they both come from the lineage of Shem, which is where that word comes from. But you claim to be a Shemite, just like he's a Shemite, and then they take everything from you. And now you got Nick Cannon had to go and apologize and do what he had to do. Sensitivity training and apologize to the rabbis. Kanye got to bow down and hold the hand of the rabbis and apologize and denounce everything that he said up until this point. Because that gift, you know what I mean, that gift destroys the heart. Where that oppression, you see the oppression and you love your people, that oppression makes you mad, but that gift is what destroys you. That gift is what makes you tell the truth, and then that truth, you know what I mean, denounce that truth publicly. You know what I mean, to try to get that money back, try to get that gift back, try to keep that gift. And that was the same spirit that's the same spirit that you see with the Pharisees and Sadducees that always tried to challenge Christ on not only the Sabbath, but the miracles that he was doing and the things that he was teaching. All for that gift. Let's go ahead to Leviticus 23 real quick. Let's see. So we're gonna go ahead and just get to the foundation of it. All right. So what is the Sabbath? You know what I mean? Because this is the foundation of where brothers and sisters get confused. Read verse. Or you can start from the top actually.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, verse 2, speak unto the Lord of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations.
So these are the holy convocations of the Lord. These are the these are the days that the Most High hollowed out for us, for his people. He's separated from all other days. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Even these are my feast. Verse 3, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7 days the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein.
Go ahead.
It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. Verse 4, these are the feast of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. Verse 5, in the 14th day of the first month, at even is the Lord's Passover.
Salakias. So this is the Passover, or Salakia, not the Passover. This is the you know what I mean, the Sabbath right here. This on the 7th day. You know what I mean? We not to do serve our work. We not to do any work. But this is where your Christian Israelite groups go wrong. This is where your Christian Israelite groups, your Christian pastors, you know what I mean, go completely wrong. This is talking about servile work. This ain't talking about, you know what I mean, because anything could be work. You know what I mean, if you take the logic of your Christian pastors, you take the logic of your these Christian Israelite groups, you know what I mean, they think that you turning the heat on in your house is work. That's why, which is ironic. Did you was about to say something?
No, this comment that the sister put, I actually just seen the video.
No, go ahead, read it.
On say Salakia, sir, it reminds me of the Mike Epps interview when he stated black people can flex on the master. If so, they we take with the riches he gave them. Black people can only flex on their people.
Now, what the sister is saying is absolutely correct, and that's the give her a hand. And that's the whole spirit behind it. Like you can't flex on your oppressor. You know what I mean? Because that just goes right into the point where your you know what I mean, the small hat man, the men, the oppressors who claim to be the Jews and claim to keep the Sabbath and claim to keep the feast days and all of that, they'll go and have their servant go and hit the button on the elevator or turn the oven on and do their work, because in their mind they think that they're saying that I can't do this servile work. I can't go, or I can't do any work. You know what I mean? I can't bake this bread. I can't flip this light switch. I can't operate this elevator. So I'm gonna have a slave to do it. But that was the whole point. Go ahead to verse 7 real quick.
Verse 7. In the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. Verse 8. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. In the 7th day is an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
So that's gonna be a common theme when you read through all of the feast days and high holy days, which are Sabbath. Sabbath just means a day of rest. It just means rest. You know what I mean? But that's gonna be the common theme that you see when you go through all of the feast days and the high holy days in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, that you don't do any servile work. So now, when you read anything about the Sabbath, or when you read anything about the Sabbath, or any of the scriptures that your Christian Israelite groups or your Christian pastor or whoever that tries to oppress you with the Sabbath, whenever you read those things and see anything about the Sabbath, then you know it's pertaining to servile work. Let's go ahead to Numbers 15 real quick. Numbers 15 and verse 32.
Come on. The book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 30. Salaki, what the fuck? Salaki. The book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse
Yeah, what's that, sir?
verse 32. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day.
Right now, this is one of the scriptures that these Christian Israelite groups to try to use to try to justify them being cruel to the, you know what I mean, the people that they claim to be the leaders over. You're supposed to be a shepherd over these people, especially if you claim to, like, if you claim to be the authority or the leader of a Israelite group, right? You claim to be the authority over Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the leaders and the, you know what I mean, the shepherds over the Lord's flock. Then you have to, you know what I mean, there's certain things that you have to, there's certain qualities that you have to have. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to guide them. You gotta be able to teach you. You gotta be able, you yourself, first of all, gotta be perfect. You know what I mean? Before you can even teach anybody else to be perfect or to keep your culture, these laws, statutes, and commandments, you yourself have to be, you know what I mean, doing it. And you got to understand how to, you know what I mean, you got to be able to take care of these people. So for these Christian Israelite groups to be out here having a, you know what I mean, they members, so to speak, eating, you know what I mean, cold bologna sandwiches and sitting in a cold house all day, all Saturday, just miserable. You can't, I don't know what you could do on a Sabbath day there in these fake Israelite groups. You gotta guess lay there and just sleep, just, I guess, sleep through it. You know what I mean? I don't know. You gotta be cold and eat cold sandwiches, and you know what I mean? Regardless of whatever you got in your house, or whether you got kids, or whether you got, you know what I mean, ailments or whatever. You know what I mean? You just gotta, it just don't make sense, long story short. Go ahead. But this is a scripture that they try to use. And this right here should tell you the spirit that your Christian Israelite group leaders are in. I mean, go ahead, read on.
Verse 33. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron, and unto all the congregation.
So it was a brother that was out gathering sticks on the Sabbath, and some people saw him and brought him to Moses and Aaron and unto the congregation. Now, why would he have to be brought? Well, go ahead, read on. You would have to, these Christian Israelite groups, they would have to ask themselves, why is it, if it was wrong to do any work at all, if it was wrong to be doing any work at all, to, you just got to lay in bed and just you can't breathe, you can't blink, you can't turn the oven on or nothing. You know what I mean? Then why would they bring him to the leaders of the nation at that time, Moses and Aaron, who was his number two? Go ahead.
Verse 34. And they put him inward.
No, they put him in ward.
They put him in ward.
Ward is like it's like being in a holding cell. Like you get, you know, suspected of a crime, you get arrested or you get detained, and until you get convicted or you go to your court date, then, you know, that's what in ward means, right? But if you're not supposed to be doing no work at all, you know what I mean? If the sticks was you can't pick up sticks. You can't pick up sticks on the ground. That's work. Well, why ain't they just throwing him right then and there? Go ahead.
Because it was not declared what should be done to him.
It had to be determined what should be done to him. They had to take it to the judges to be able to judge the matter, right? This is due process in the scriptures. Go ahead.
Verse 35. And the Lord said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the count.
All right. So this is the reason why he was brought and had to be judged for the matter, is because he was doing, this is servile work. Like when you talk about serve our work, think about just right now, in your current captivity. You know what I mean? You got to go to, you know what I mean, you might have some brothers who own businesses, or, you know what I mean, you might be an employee, you might work for Walmart. Now, if we wasn't in captivity, if we was rightfully, you know what I mean, ruling over the planet like we supposed to, then your Walmarts where you go to slave at, your Amazons, your your Teslas, you know what I mean, they will be closed on the Sabbath. And the people who run, you know what I mean, if things was in order, the people who run these businesses where you go to your slavery, they couldn't make you come in and work on the Sabbath. They wouldn't make you, you know what I mean, whatever you doing at the slave, you putting together, you know what I mean, vehicles, or you stocking shelves, they couldn't make you come in and work. Or read that again, or else they would, and
And the Lord.
share the screen as well. Put the scripture on them. Like, go here, then hit. Yeah. Go here real quick. Then hit this right here. Both of us on the screen. All right.
And the Lord said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death.
Mm-hmm.
All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the count.
So they're not just stoning him. They not just, you know what I mean, they not just stoning him and locking him up and you know what I mean, for the sake of him picking up sticks. This is serve our work, because on the Sabbath day, the whole point of the Sabbath, the whole point of these days that the Most High hollowed out for his people, is for us to not do serve, or is for us not to do serve our work. You know what I mean? That's what he said for us to. That's the work that we talking about. It's like it, sir.
If I could, priest, which you bringing out like such a heavy point on like the hypocrisy of the groups, because like clearly we hate what the Lord hate and we love what the Lord loves. These wicked holidays of this kingdom, like this goddamn Thanksgiving that's coming up,
Right.
It's what you saying, to crystallize it for people in the world that are listening. It's like you were given that day off from your slavery. You know, you were appointed that day off, but someone made you come in that day, the last minute. Someone made you come in and said, you got to work the whole day. You got to stock the warehouse. You got to unload all the warehouse and do all the boxes on the day that you intended to be, you know, doing something, intended a day of rest because you've been working all other 6 days. And they want to kill you for going into work that day.
Good night.
Because you were taken into, like, you were called into work, you should be put to death. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense, and it shows that they're out, you know, that they just don't understand the spirit of what they're saying. And also it's so heavy too, because it shows that the spirit just comes back on the earth, because these are the same spirits that was attacking Christ.
Right.
The same spirits that was challenging Christ, saying, why, you know, why you picking corn? You know what I'm saying? What are you doing this for on the Sabbath? Like, what are you doing something that, why would you be doing that? You're going against the Lord.
Right.
So it's just such a heavy point on the hypocrisy you was bringing up, Salaki.
Now give him a hand. And that's the whole point. It's so heavy because they trying to persecute you. You're poor. You're a slave. You have to go work at Walmart. Like, you don't own Walmart. You don't even know Walmart. Whoever the established. Yeah, you don't even know them. You know what I mean? But you got to come in and work for Jeff Bezos. You got to work for, you know what I mean, Elon Musk. You got to come in and work for, you know what I mean, Walmart or wherever your slavery is at. And these Christian Israelite groups are so damn evil. They will persecute you for being a slave in hell. You know what I mean? But they not, you know what I mean? What they not doing is holding your oppressor accountable. They wouldn't dare challenge, you know what I mean? They wouldn't dare challenge your oppressor. That's why they come up against us for being so aggressive. What bro say? He said, "Oh, I don't want to say it, but they like, oh, some people are just we don't. Some people are aggressive. We not that aggressive." That's not what he said. What he said was crazy. But nah, him too though. That's a better one. But it was a Christian. It was a Israelite Christian Israelite that was saying he said ISUPK they come hard. We don't come as hard. Yeah, that's why they come at us like that, because they not gonna be aggressive. They're not gonna keep that same energy, you know what I mean, with your oppressor. And that just show you how fake that all of that is. Oh, go ahead, sir.
If I could, with like what you saying so heavy too, because it's like they come aggressive on the people who you should have compassion for.
Right.
They're aggressive with the people that are like downtrodden and like you who are nigh into hopelessness.
Right.
But they're not aggressive to celebrities like Kyrie Irving.
Right.
Well, they never questioned Kyrie Irving about working on the Sabbath, but they will question that woman that's working that goddamn Kroger.
Right.
So like,
sir, no, that's exactly what it is. The water, sir. You just brought it full circle. Like they will attack you, and that's why. Oh my God! Like that's why it makes so much sense. Like when we go out there to these cities, you know what I mean, to Dallas, to Killeen, to San Antonio, and we see how they pull back when they see the shield of David. They see the garments, they see the fringes, and they pull back. And then they first question usually is, "Y'all them purple?" Yeah, and then we got to make the distinction, because they'll be on a street corner and they'll attack a sister just for wearing pants. She wearing pants, you know what I mean, and she don't even you know what I mean, align herself with that Israelite group or any Israelite group. She just a sister in hell, just trying to, you know what I mean, trying to get through her day. Concert, real talk. Whole time, you know what I mean, those sisters that get persecuted, or a brother with a baseball cap on walking past the camp, they don't even know what the hell you talking about. You know what I mean? It's all sorts of street performers in San Antonio, and you walk past thinking, you know what I mean, not even know what's going on, and they persecuting that brother for just wearing a baseball cap. You know what I mean? But then Kyrie Irving post the link to the documentary, saying or suggesting that we maybe the Jews may be black. Just suggesting it. And what the IUIC, they did a whole march. They did a whole purple march through the streets. And then when he withdrew everything, when he withdrew his statement, he don't even, I think, what is he, a Muslim now? I don't even know what he is now. Like he don't even identify with Israel after all of that trouble. And there was no persecution. You know what I mean? Not saying that the brother need to be persecuted, but it just show you the difference in the spirit. You know what I mean? Their whole point ain't to teach you the truth. Their whole point ain't to give you what you don't have, which is your culture. Their whole point is just to hurt you. Otherwise, they would have kept the same energy with Kyrie Irving. They would have kept the same energy with them, you know what I mean, those rabbis. You know what I mean? There was no energy. I don't know if, correct me if I'm wrong, I ain't see no energy toward Matan and them rabbis when they was you know what I mean, coming against Captain Zaryak. You know what I mean? I ain't see no energy toward the rabbis when they made Kanye West apologize and hold his hand, and made Kyrie Irving apologize and find him $600,000. There was no energy for that. You know what I mean? But it just shows you the intent behind what they actually doing. As a matter of fact, let's get finish that, Salakia. Or I think that's it on that. Go to Matthew, should be up or not. Go to Matthew chapter 12 real quick. And this is the whole point. This is what Officer DeWarriala was talking about earlier, where the whole point, like we read in John the 11th chapter, they see the things that Christ was doing, and they have to persecute him now. Not because he's wrong. Not because he's wrong, but because if they don't persecute him, if they don't try to trip him up, if they don't try to catch some sort of hypocrisy and try to make an excuse to be able to lock him up or stone him or turn him over to the Romans, then the people gonna believe on him because he's actually helping the people. He's actually giving the people what they need, giving them the truth about the matter, about the Sabbath, giving them the truth about, what's clean and what's unclean, who you should love and who you shouldn't love. He's actually giving you the truth according to the matter. And if you actually believe what's true that Christ is saying, then they're gonna get their seat taken away with the Romans, and they're gonna lose their seat. They're gonna lose their power, their notoriety, their respect that they have, their level of being just above you as a slave here. You know what I mean? And that's the spirit that you see on these Christians, these Catholics, and all these other religions, Christian Israelite groups alike. You know what I mean? Go ahead, read what you got in Matthew 12.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 1. At that time, Yahushua went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were an hungered, and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat.
All right. So, and this is the beauty of being in the ISUPK. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, since 1969, where we don't have to overthink. We don't have to, we don't have to. We can just look at Commander General Yohana and what he does and just do that. We don't understand something. We see Commander General Yohana, eating, cooking on the Sabbath, going out to eat on the Sabbath, or having a drink or whatever the case is. You see him driving his car. You see he's doing the thing. Then you could just do that, and that's what Christ's disciples was doing. Like in this time, Christ was, read verse 1 again, Salakia.
Come.
So Christ is walking through this field, and they was hungry. Right? Go ahead.
At that time, Yahushua went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were an hungered, and began to pluck the ears of the corn and to eat.
So they hungry and they eating. They going through this field of corn, they hungry. So it's food right there. Ain't that what it say in the law where we don't glean the corners of our field, that if there's a sojourner amongst you passing through, that, or if there's anybody who's poor, because Christ didn't have a home, he didn't have anywhere to lay his head, he didn't, so that's for, ain't that what the law says? That's for them, the poor and the sojourner, so he passing through this field and he grabbing some corn. But because the Pharisees and the Sadducees, because of your Christian pastors, because of your Christian Israelite groups, because they don't want to lose their seat with our oppressor, let's see what they did. Go ahead.
Come, verse 2. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day.
See, imagine that. Brothers is hungry. And it's all sorts of, it's all sorts of diabolical things going on right around you. It's especially with your oppressor. The Romans is robbing and they like we read in Isaiah the 66th chapter. They dress themselves up, they sanctify themselves, they make themselves, they dress themselves up and make themselves with the appearance that they, keeping the law, but behind every tree they eating swine's flesh and rat. They doing all abominable things and unlawful things. But you walk through a field and eat some corn, or you in your home and you decide to cut the oven on, or you decide to cut that heater on because it's below 32 degrees, it's freezing, and you got 3 babies in your house. They gonna want to persecute you. They getting pegged by their women. They undercover police officers, but you walk past with some apple bottoms on, sister, and you wrong. You walk that's the same spirit that you're seeing right here. Go ahead, read verse 2.
I just read.
Or you go ahead, read verse 3, Salakia.
Verse 3. But he said unto them, Have ye not read what David did
And
when he was
go ahead.
when he was at hunger, and they that were with him.
And that's the crazy part. Like he's turning it back on them. Like he's challenging. Like, hey, ain't you supposed to be the scholars? Like, ain't y'all supposed to be the authority? You Christian pastors, you know what I mean? Your Christian Israelite group leaders. Ain't y'all supposed to be ain't you supposed to know the Bible? You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like the thing that they trying to persecute for you for doing, it's in the law and it's in the scriptures and it's in the history that these things are lawful to do. It's the only thing that you can't do is serve our work. That's what you can't do. You can't do serve our work. You know what I mean? You can't make it if you got a business and you own a business and you got employees, you can't make them work on that day. You know what I mean? Go ahead. So he's saying, have you not read what David did when he was hungry and that they were with him? Go ahead.
Come, verse 4. How he entered into the house of God and did eat the shewbread.
See, because your Christian pastors or your Christian Israelite group leaders, they are greedy and they just want a crumb. They just want the gift from your oppressor. They missed the point. Like they missed the whole point of why any of this is even in place. Go ahead.
Which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priest.
All right. So, King David, you know what I mean? He was with his men and he was, he's on the run. You know what I mean? He's on the run. He's got to sleep in these precarious places and, you know what I mean? His life crazy right now. And he's hungry. You know what I mean? And the showbread is for, you know what I mean? It stays in the temple, is made and put in the temple to show that the priests who do the service of the Lord, whose job it is to be in the temple to, you know what I mean, to serve the people, that they're being fed. You know what I mean? Because for them to be available, for them to be in the temple, for them to be set by, you know what I mean, to give wisdom, to be able to settle disputes, to be able to, you know what I mean, do all the things that was the duty of a priest, they couldn't, you know what I mean, they couldn't be out, you know what I mean, in the field working. They couldn't be out, you know what I mean, plowing fields and, you know what I mean, being blacksmiths. You know what I mean, they couldn't do all of those things. They had to be available. So the showbread was to show that the priests are being taken care of. Right? Go ahead.
Come, verse 5. Or have ye not read in the law how that on the Sabbath day the priest in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless?
Go ahead.
It ain't moving. Verse 6. But I say unto you that in this place one great than the temple.
See, the whole point. I mean, the whole point of all of this is for the, you know what I mean, for the priest to be able to have something to eat, for them to not have to go and get a slavery, for them not to have to, you know what I mean, so that they can be available to serve us. But if it's just sitting there, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, if the showbread is just sitting there and there's a brother, there's a homeless man, or there's a brother who, you know what I mean, who need it and is right there, why wouldn't you as a brother, why wouldn't the priest just be able to give that to him and be able to serve, you know what I mean, I mean, that's the whole point. That's the whole point of the priest being there. That's the whole point of the priest not, you know what I mean, working in the temple and not going out and having a slavery, so that they can take care of the people, so they can take care of the Lord's flock. But if you know what I mean, your Christian pastors, your Christian Israelite group leaders, you know what I mean, they see these little minor, they see these details, and they use it as a tool to be able to weaponize against a people who's already destroyed and downtrodden under our oppressor. Like we already we already beat into, you know what I mean? They trying to beat us into submission. They trying to, you know what I mean, rip our spirit from us. They trying to, you know what I mean, destroy us. You know what I mean? And you're going to be another thing. You're going to be another tool that your oppressor can use to destroy, you know what I mean, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans further, to persecute Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans further. You know what I mean, your Christian pastors and your Christian Israelite groups, they missed the whole point, right? So Christ, you know what I mean, had to remind them, right? Please, sir.
It's so heavy because they like, just like the Christian Israelites of today, they're going purely off what the text says, missing the spirit of it. Right. And that's why Christ spoke how he spoke in parables, because it wasn't for them.
Right.
It's not for them to be the people that care for the Lord's flock, because that's not their job.
Right.
Their job is to the Lord is using them to show who the real is and who the fake is, just like he does today. Like, you got the ISUPK under Commander Jenny Hanna, and you got everybody else that does. Everybody else is doing exactly. Everyone that comes up against Captain Tazariak sounds exactly like the Pharisees and Sadducees.
Right.
They sound just like them. Everybody that comes up against the school, they sound just like them people, because they're the same spirit back on earth. And it's just a heavy point that you bring it out, because it eludes them, but it's because it's not given unto them. So, like,
Now, give him a hand. And it's so crazy, like, even it's so crazy that, like you said, like, just like those brothers come up against Captain Tazariak today, come up against General Muhammad, come up against Commander General Yohana today, like, that's what you seeing right here. But it's crazy that they can't even see it. Like, that's why Christ is saying, ain't it in the law? Like, you don't remember what happened in this scenario? Like, you don't. It's because they not even thinking about that. They just thinking about how they can hurt you. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Where are you at? Verse
7. But if ye had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, ye would not have condemned the guiltiness, the guiltless.
And that's so heavy. As a matter of fact, let me get. Oh, please, sir. Let's sign this.
That's what I was waiting to hear. That part of the verse. If you read that again, I
kind of one. But if ye had known what this meaneth,
read.
I will have mercy and not sacrifice.
Mercy, not sacrifice. See, Blacks and Hispanics, we always feel like we need to be religious. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we have to have the outward show that we're righteous. It's not because we're really pleasing God. We want to have the appearance of it in front of other people. You know what I'm saying? So they want to be able to say, yeah, I had to get all my stuff prepped up on Friday, but I'm good to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, but then it's like, okay, what if the baby's hungry on Saturday and she needs a warm bottle? You not going to use the stove?
Right.
The baby can't get a warm bottle? You think that's what the Lord wants?
Right.
Okay, that's what the Lord wants. But he don't want that, but then he don't want us to come together either, though. He don't want us to be all in one body. We could all be separate, but we all up under the same God. You are insane. And it's cognitive dissonance, man. It's a psychological deviation of the mind, bro. You understand? To where, like how you just said, Christ is asking them, you don't remember where it's written? Well, okay, don't you remember what happened with David? Don't you remember? Like, are the priests who profane the Sabbath, why are they blameless? You know what I'm saying? They're cooking on the Sabbath. Right. I had a brother tell me, he was like, I quoted the scripture that Christ said. I'm like, damn, you gonna argue with Christ? He gonna say to me, I said, no, that's what I asked him. He was on the book, on the comments about cooking on the Sabbath. I said, is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath? He was like, yeah, it's lawful to do good. I said, so if we barbecue and cook and feed the people, is that lawful? You can feed the people without cooking.
Good night.
He said you can feed the people without cooking. And he said, don't try to use that scripture because the disciples were in the field plucking corn, and that was lawful to pluck corn. They plucked it and ate it raw. I said, what? I said, Salaki, I said, nigga, what nigga do you know what takes corn and eats it off the stalk raw? You have to roast it or boil it to eat it.
Right.
That they was taking them off the stalks to cook. That's why they tripped out. And Christ gives the quote. He uses two different examples. The priests are cooking every day in the temple. And what's the whole point of all of this? Because the priests who are in the temple cooking, they're doing the Lord's work. So they're good to go. You understand? And then I asked him, I said, what? I said, okay, what priesthood are we under currently? If Christ is saying that Levites were blameless, right, for profaning the Sabbath, what priesthood and what order are we under right now? Because if that's the case, then how can Christ call himself a priest?
Right.
That's only for, is Christ breaking the law? You know what I'm saying? They don't understand. And this is the thing, is what you said. The people who have the least amount of self-control are always trying to control somebody else, bro, to distract themselves from the fact that they don't have control over themselves. When you don't have rule over your flesh, you definitely gonna be trying to be a tyrant over somebody else. So like it.
God, sir. My head. That's so damn heavy, man. And it's, oh my God. Like it's so many, like everything that you just said was it's so many things that they not thinking about. Like you're not thinking about this little baby that may need, you know what I mean, may need a warm bottle, but you willing to argue against like imagine being so hell bent on trying to have this appearance that you willing to argue against a child having, you know what I mean, food on the Sabbath because it's the Sabbath. Like it, sir.
Priest, okay. What is the common denominator in all of this? You've gone through this like a professor in college. You're highlighting all these different aspects, right? But what's the common thread that runs through all of these points that you're bringing out? Think about this. These Pharisees are watching Christ heal people.
Right.
Like you said, raise brothers from the dead. Right? They told him when he healed that one brother, he said, hey man, you can't be carrying your bed on the Sabbath. He said, well, the man who healed me told me to get up and carry the bed. They said, look, man, it's 6 days to do stuff like that. On the Sabbath day, don't carry your bed. What? Wait a minute. You telling me this, you know that this brother been here for 38 years and you see him walking with the bed. Hey, bro, not you don't ask, hey man, how'd you get better? What happened? It's, hey man, what you carrying your bed for? Hey man, look, man, 6 days you can get healed. On the 7th day, ain't no work to be done. Bruh. Not who did it.
Right.
Who told you could do that? Bro, that's what we're dealing with here. Like, look, this is the thing. Christ is healing people, raising them from the dead, and you're worried about the law. A law that you don't even keep.
Right.
And we know you don't keep it because when you put up that woman in front of everybody, you all dropped the rocks and left.
Right.
So you over here getting worked up about something that you don't even really care about.
Right.
That's why Christ said, he was like, you wouldn't have condemned the guiltless if you understood what this meant. I'd rather have mercy than sacrifice. You know what it is, Ak? You can't follow Christ without brotherhood.
Right.
The reason why you don't care about that baby starving is because you don't got brotherhood. The reason why them brothers in the Maccabees that wanted to keep the Sabbath keepers, and then here come the Greek army ready to murder men, women, and children, and you say, well, we ain't going to break the Sabbath, so let's all die. You would let your family starve to honor God. When you think God is cruel like that?
Right.
You think God wants you to sacrifice your family because of a letter? Bruh, feed your kids. I want you to be alive to serve me.
Right.
I'm a God of the living,
Right.
not the dead. Salaki.
Yeah, too. Yeah, damn right. If I could, priest, one last thing on what he bringing out is so heavy. The Lord is the Lord is showing you right now who deserves power and who doesn't deserve power. Like we're living in a kingdom where the people that are questioning have all the power. They're the rulers. They're the ones that are in the high seat. Christ didn't even have a home. Niggas is walking through the streets, but the Lord is sifting through all that because there's going to be a change in the program. In Christ's kingdom, all the people that love their brothers is going to have the power because they're going to take care of everybody.
Right.
They're going to take care of each other, and that's what makes it the kingdom of heaven. Right. That's how you don't walk around downtown and step over a brother that's dying so that you could just go and get a goddamn McDouble or, a quarter pounder or some deck. They not even eating McDonald's. They walking around and going to Fogo de Chao, tipping. But this brother is asking for some anything, some crumbs of your. But you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna take that food, them leftovers that they won't eat, and they're gonna give it to their dog.
Good night.
And that brother is dying in the streets. So lucky.
Yeah.
You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna feed a white man before they feed a nigga. They're gonna give it to their dog.
Good night.
Dogs.
Oh, good night. Give him a hand. Go to that John real quick. I was gonna go right into that. Go to where is it? Salakia in 11. Salakia. Oh, you might have to go a little bit higher than that.
9.
3. Salakia. Oh, verse 2. Go to verse 2. All right.
So I need to share.
And that's the you on the wrong. These it's gonna be a terrible. It's gonna be a terrible thing to find out that you on the wrong side, or to be on the wrong side when Christ come back. You know what I mean? These Christian Israelite groups, they claim to be doing all of this for Christ. You know what I mean? For Christ to come back and warning you because Christ gonna come back and judge the nations, and you know what I mean, this, that, and the third. You claim to be doing it for Christ, but you persecuting the brothers who are actually serving, you know what I mean, feeding the flock, like Christ said. You know what I mean? And Lord forbid, you know what I mean, I pray that brothers and sisters come up out of that hell. That's them Christian Israelite groups. You know what I mean? That Christian church. You know what I mean, all of that all of those different religions that we go into. You know what I mean? Because when Christ sent for those, when Christ sent for those hunters, then it's gonna be a wrap, and it's not gonna be much that could be said. It's like it, sir.
I got a question. I wonder if on the Sabbath we out there grilling, right? And people out there coming saying they hungry, and I wonder what they say something about. I wonder what they confront us like that and be like,
right,
y'all shouldn't be. This is evil. I wonder what they do that. And then, that's what I would ask them. Well, all right, we sinning, we cooking. Is it a sin for you to eat the chicken that we cooking?
Yes.
You listen. The law said no. Well, I mean, the law says that you can't cook, but can you eat?
Right.
Can you eat? That's what I would ask. Like, or is it okay? We cooked this chicken. Is this a sin for you to eat it? You dig what I'm saying? You just said we out here trying to serve and feed the people, and you want to stop the people from being fed. You know who that sounds like? Donald Trump. Let me cut these SNAP benefits. You think that proves that you really believe in a white Jesus. You have the spirit of the man that you say that God is coming to destroy. He doesn't want to feed us, and you don't want us feeding them either.
Good night.
Only on a certain day. Well, it's crazy, y'all, because we got to work too.
Right.
Ain't nobody giving us this money, so we got to work 6 days a week. So the day that we take off and take the money that we earn from our slaveries to go and feed the people that our oppressor is not feeding, you're saying that that's a sin?
Right.
Heavy. And you know what? What school you got? What's the programs that you have?
Right.
Oh, it's called the Manna Program. Get it all up on Friday. Get all the cold sandwiches and deli sandwiches made on Friday, and get out there and hand out baggies. Okay.
Good night.
Yeah, because nobody want no hot chicken. Nobody don't want no chicken off the grill, nice and warm.
Right.
They gotta have a cold sandwich because that's what the Lord said. But when it's time for you to leave your husband and hop on another ride,
right.
that ain't a big deal.
Right.
When you want to go and hop in your brother's wife and or get pegged in the behind, that's not a big issue.
Right.
But feeding the people on the Sabbath, because Christ said that in as much as you've done it to the least of my brethren, he said, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. Is handing out clothes on the Sabbath work? Is that work?
There's a little bit of work.
Is work?
Serve out work.
So hand out the clothes is serve our work?
Oh no, it's not serve.
Yeah, I'm about to say you about to offend our Lord. Christ was like, what you say, Caucus? No, I know I'm just messing with you. No, I'm just saying, man, like they don't understand. And the reason why they don't understand, the reason why we do, is because at the root of it, we have chosen to follow the man whom God chose, who he left in charge. Like Christ left Peter in charge, Commander General Yohana was left in charge. And that's the only reason why we understand this. We can't act like we special. We have the spirit of Christ because we chose to submit to the man who is following Christ.
Right.
And that's it. They're not following Christ because they're not following Commander General Yohana.
Right.
And I know that sounds controversial, but you weren't following the Most High if you weren't following Moses. It's just simple. You weren't following the Most High if you weren't listening to Elijah. When Elijah's having an argument with 400 prophets of Baal, that's like 400 pastors in the Christian church. You got one man representing the Lord. And you got 400 leaders who got what? 400 different groups. Yeah, you got 7,000 men who've not bent the knee to Baal. Guess who them 7,000 men was yielded to? Elijah. That's it, man. Salak.
Right. Now give my hand. Yeah, I don't know if these Christian Israelite groups or these Christian pastors know, but if you homeless, you tend to be homeless every day, 7 days out of the week. Like if you sleeping outside, you're out there on the Sabbath. You out there eating, whatever you can get your hands on. And 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna be hot. Like, get you a little bag of chips, the little sandwiches from the gas station. You already, that's what you're doing because you're trying to scrape by. And that's just, it's so heavy you bringing it out, sir, because like it's making them, like what you were saying about whether if it's unlawful for us to cook it, is it lawful for you to eat it? They would either have to admit that they're wrong and that they should yield and come follow Commander General Yohana, or they would have to take the food out of these homeless brothers and sisters' mouths that we feed in because it's unlawful to eat. And that both will eat no matter what they do, whether they take the food out their hand or whether they just yield and be like, damn, you right, I ain't think about it like that. They're showing who the Lord is with and who the Lord ain't with. You know what I mean? And Christ was so cold with it. Go ahead, read what you Slack. So you about to say something? But Christ so cold with it, like he he knew how to set it up just like that, where out of their own mouth or out of their own actions, they show you who the Lord is with and who the Lord ain't with. Go ahead, read what you got. That John 8 and started 2.
The book of John, chapter 8, verse 2. And early in the morning, he came again unto the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them.
So he doing the work of the Lord. You know what I mean? He's teaching them. He's serving the people like he always did. You know what I mean? He taught. He fed the people. You know what I mean? He took care of family. He was raising the, you know what I mean, raising the dead, healing the sick. You know what I mean? Whole time he homeless. And the whole time he ain't got nowhere to lay his own head. But he's feeding the people. You know what I mean? He's teaching the people. This is just what he was doing. He was doing the work. But look at what the Pharisees and Sadducees, look what the Pharisees was doing. Go ahead, read.
And the scribes and the Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery.
Now remember, these are the same scribes and Pharisees in John the 11th chapter who saw Christ raise the dead and was like, we got to do something about Christ, because if we don't, they're gonna believe on him, and we're gonna lose our seat with the Romans. They was concerned with their relationship with the Romans and pleasing the Romans rather than pleasing the Most High God. You know what I mean? These are the same Pharisees. Go ahead, read on.
And when they had set her in the midst,
so they came with a woman caught in the act of adultery. Go ahead.
They say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act.
So these are the things that they always would try to trip Christ up with. You know what I mean? Christ teaching, Christ feeding the people. He's actually holding it down for the you know what I mean, the Lord's chosen people. And they trying to trip him up. They trying to do something or say something to try to make it seem like, oh, he's a hypocrite. Or as a matter of fact, go ahead, read on. They gonna say it out their own mouth.
Verse 5. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned.
So they saying now Moses said in the law that we should stone this woman. But what do you say? Like they always tried to you know what I mean, sarcastically like placate to Christ and try to be like, good master. You know what I mean? You're a teacher of the law. You know what I mean, you're the king of the Jews, right? You the authority, right? What say you? Moses, you know what I mean? Little old Moses, he said in the law that this woman should be stoned. She was caught in the very act. But what do you say, great master? Go ahead, read on.
But what said thou?
Go ahead. Verse 6.
Verse 6. And they said, tempting him.
They did what?
They said, tempting him.
So they wasn't sincere when they were saying this. They said this, tempting him. You know what I mean? And that's what you see brothers and sisters do, you know what I mean, when they come up to the camp, or they, you know what I mean, brothers and sisters ask General Muhammad or, you know what I mean, Captain Tazariak, you know what I mean, questions about the scriptures. You know what I mean? Cross the line and whatever, whenever you see interactions with, you know what I mean, the prophets, whether it's camp or cross the line podcast classes, things like that. You know what I mean? They're asking a question, but there's an agenda behind it. And that's what's happening right here. Go ahead.
That they might have to accuse him.
They might have to accuse him, because if they was right, if they was able to find some sort of uncleanness or some sort of hypocrisy in Christ, then they would be able to execute you know what I mean? They would be able to have authority to be able to stone him. You know what I mean? Because that's what they was doing. They was searching and looking and persecuting people and finding reasons to imprison them or stone them or punish them in some way. You know what I mean? And that's what they had to do to try to do to Christ, because if the people believed on him, then they would lose their seats. Like it, sir.
No, what you saying is so heavy too, priest, because if they could find one inkling of hypocrisy in Christ, then the hypocrisy in them would have to be overlooked.
Right.
Then they would be the same. Now I'm just saying I'm basically Christ too.
Good night. Right.
Salaki, that's why they don't want niggas to be perfect.
Right. Good night. Imagine. Good night. Give him a hand. Like, like imagine that we saying just or the scriptures are saying we read in the scriptures and show where it says, Christ said, "Be therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect." And the argument that your Christian churches and your Christian Israelite groups will say is like, "Oh, nobody is perfect," and you know what I mean. They'll fight against perfection, which is just keeping the law. You know what I mean? Keeping, you know what I mean, loving your brother, loving the Most High with all your heart, mind, and strength, which is keeping the law, and loving your brother, which is keeping the law. You know what I mean? If I love you, then I'm not gonna rob you. Simple as that. That's being perfect. But you got brothers and sisters who so hell bent on trying to hurt somebody, like how they was trying to persecute Christ, that they'll fight against just us being perfect. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know about you, but I'm sure you wish that your drug addict mother was perfect. You know what I mean? When you was raised in that Christian church and that uncle that had his way with you, I'm sure that you wished while you know what I mean, whatever you was going through, I'm sure you was going through hell wishing that he would just be perfect. That alcoholic father that beat you, I'm sure you wished that he would be perfect right then. But you know what I mean, when a brother come out on the street corners on the Sabbath, you know what I mean, use his day, you know what I mean, use his day of rest to go out and teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans and feed them. You know what I mean, you want to come and persecute us. I mean, we're trying to give you the childhood you never had. You know what I mean, the childhood that's free of abuse and drug addicts and alcoholism and SA and slavery, and you know what I mean, your family in and out of prison, and you don't know your father and you barely know your mother. You know what I mean? We're trying to give you and your children and your brothers and your sisters childhood that you never had, the justice that you never had. You know what I mean? The very reason why you a hypocrite in the first place, the reason why you're campaigning for being a drug addict, or campaigning to be able to have the sin that you accept to be acceptable to the Most High, because you grew up in hell and you had to develop these vices, these things, these habits, you know what I mean, to try to survive in this hell. But the answer to that is just being perfect. So I won't rob you, so you don't have to be robbed. You can go to sleep safely at night knowing that no one's gonna rob you. You can go to sleep at night knowing that your kids are safe, because we're gonna be perfect and we're not gonna put your kids in danger. You know what I mean? That's the whole point. And if you could just understand that, then you know what I mean, there will be, I mean, that'll be a good start, I think. I mean, I don't know. Go ahead, what was that? Verse 6. So he said, read it from the top, Baba Kasha.
This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him.
All right. So this whole thing that these Pharisees are doing, is the whole sole purpose is to tempt Christ so that they can accuse him. Go ahead. But Christ was cold with it. Go ahead.
But Yahushua stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground, as though he heard them not.
As though he heard. So he acting like he ain't even hear him, like he ignoring them, because he know this ain't his first rodeo. He know that they not sincere. You know what I mean? He know how they roll. They've been rolling like this for, you know what I mean, since they was put in this position. You know what I mean? Just like your Christian churches, since they was put in this position to rule over you and to teach you the slave doctrine to keep you a better slave. You know what I mean? They've been doing this for a minute. Go ahead.
Verse 7. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, that he is without sin among you. Let him first cast a stone at her.
So they talking about sin. You know what I mean? Like them purple Israelite groups that'll persecute our sisters over them pants. You know what I mean? They talking about, oh, this sister, she's this, that, and the third because she's wearing female pants. You know what I mean? Go ahead. But he said, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast the stone at her.
Verse 8. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground.
And he just let him sit in it. Like, okay, no sweat. You I mean, without saying it, you know what I mean? Like, okay, you know, it does say that in the law. All right, no sweat. Well, y'all, since y'all, you know what I mean, since y'all don't sin, clearly, because y'all bringing this woman who's a sinner, y'all bringing this woman to be judged. So obviously y'all don't sin. You know what I mean? So y'all go ahead, get it cracking. He without sin, cast the first stone. Go ahead, get it cracking. Go ahead.
Verse 9, and they which heard it began convicted by their own conscience.
Being what?
Conscience. Being convicted by their own conscience.
Being convicted by their own conscience. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Yahushua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst.
See, Christ just simply asked, like, okay, no sweat. Since you believe in this thing, since you clearly believe that, you know what I mean, you know, this woman caught in adultery, she should be stoned, right? You know what I mean? Just like any sin, you should be stoned, right? That is what the law says. All right, well, you know what I mean? With your since you on sin, go ahead, get it cracking. And they, with their own actions, they didn't, you know what I mean? Christ didn't say, "Oh, y'all sinning." He didn't accuse them of nothing. He didn't. He was just like, "All right, no sweat. Well, go ahead, let's get it cracking." Starting with, you know what I mean? You that ain't got no sin. And they walked away. They showed right then and there to that woman that was right there that the Lord was not with them, and that they was just as much hypocrites as they was accusing her of being. They was just as much sinners as they was accusing her of being. Go ahead, but let's see what Christ did though.
Verse 10, when Yahushua lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Have no man condemned thee?
So he's like, dang, where everybody go? Dang. It's crazy. It wasn't even a single person there. They all left. By their action, they admitted that they were hypocrites. They were sinners for the same crime that they was trying to convict this sister of committing. They was committing that same crime, and because they was hypocrites, they had to leave. Go ahead.
Verse 11, she said, No man, Lord. And Yahushua said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more.
And you would think that that public display of hypocrisy, you would think that would make them just drop everything and just and you know what I mean, you would think that would make them serve the Lord, or at least stop, you know what I mean, persecuting their own people. You would think that the public display of hypocrisy will make them just retire, you know what I mean? But that just goes to show you that right here, they just wanted to hurt somebody. They was just ready to, you know what I mean, they was ready to get it in when it came time to hurting somebody else. But when it came time to realize that they was guilty of the same thing and was deserved the same punishment, then they walked away sorrowful. And this is before, I believe we read at John 11, where they say if we leave them alone, they will believe on them, and they gotta you know what I mean, they gonna lose their seat with the Romans. Even after this public display of hypocrisy from those same Pharisees, they still went on and resolved in themselves that they had to persecute Christ. Go ahead.
Verse 12, then spake Yahushua again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world.
Oh, so like you read verse 11 again?
Come. Verse 11. She said, No man, Lord. And Yahushua said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more.
See, Christ was the only man who actually had the authority to be able to execute judgment on this sister, because he was without sin. So he would have been able to, you know what I mean, execute judgment on his sister, but he chose to show some mercy. He chose to give her mercy, man. And that's what these Christian pastors don't do. That's what these Christian Israelite groups, that's what these Catholic priests, that's what they don't want to do. You know what I mean? I mean, let that sister eat, man. Let these. You know what I mean, you see these brothers, you see these priests and prophets out here feeding the people at camp, and you know what I mean, talking, you know what I mean, teaching the people, and you know what I mean. You see us firing up the grill and feeding the homeless. Let them eat. Let them have some of this chicken, man. And you know what I mean. You more than welcome to come get some chicken yourself, but you know what I mean. Just But what you can't do, what we not gonna allow you to do, is destroy our people further. You know what I mean? That's what we not gonna allow you to do. You can come get some chicken, but if you come and try to persecute the prophets of the Lord for trying to feed the people, or you trying to have people, brothers and sisters, you know what I mean, freezing in their homes because of your skewed idea of what you think the Sabbath is, then you know what I mean, you're gonna run into some trouble. You know what I mean? Ain't anybody in the chat or anything saying nothing? I'm surprised. I was hoping some
You got heckless.
yeah, I was hoping some Christian some individualites or some Christian pastors or something was gonna explain to me why we're not allowed to feed brothers and sisters on the Sabbath, or why I gotta feed them cold sandwiches. But no sweat. Let's go to Salakia. Let's see what this says. Salakia, bear with me 1 second. Actually, you can go back to that Matthew 12. It's right there in the next tab. You can just hit the tab and then hit share this tab instead, and it's going. Yeah. All right, go ahead, read.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12. But if ye had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, you would have not condemned the guiltless.
Yeah, that's what you saw right there. When Christ decided to have mercy on this sister. You know what I mean? And even though those Pharisees was just as guilty as that sister, they wanted to try to condemn her. They wanted to try to condemn her. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Next verse.
Verse 8, for the Son of Man is Lord, even of the Sabbath day.
Even of what?
Even of the Sabbath day.
And this is the part that this is the part that your Christian pastors and your Christian Israelite groups miss. I mean, because the Christian church, these Christian Israelite groups, they claim to be doing this for Christ, right? I mean, they doing this for the sake of, preparing, the people, his flock, for Christ to come back. You know what I mean? They claim to be doing, even your Christian pastor, they claim to be spreading the word of God, right? Ain't that what they say in the Christian church? They claim to be doing all of this for Christ, and that's why they even call themselves Christians. You know what I mean, because they claim to be followers of Christ. Where this is what Christ said. Read that again, Baba Shah.
Verse 8, for the Son of Man is Lord, even of the Sabbath day.
I mean, there's an answer right there. You know what I mean? Christ is trying to tell you, the man that you claim to be doing all of this for, all this persecuting for, you know what I mean? All of this hell you putting Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans through, all this Christianity, you know what I mean? All this baptizing and the praise dancing and the what they call it, the catching the Holy Ghost, all of that nonsense that you doing in that Christian church. You know what I mean? All the forgiving of your oppressor. Every time you see ICE, you know what I mean? You see another ICE raid in another city, you know what I mean? Where Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans together are being persecuted. All of that, we got to forgive. You claim to be doing it for Christ. But Christ is telling you right here that the Son of Man, which is you, is the Lord even of the Sabbath day. You're the Lord. The Sabbath was made for you. You know what I mean? For you to rest, for you to be able to do whatever you want to do on that day. You know what I mean? Except for, you know what I mean, serve our work. You can't make nobody work for you. I mean, if we was in hell, or if we wasn't in hell, then we would be able to, you know what I mean, get this day, or we would be able to close down all the businesses and, you know what I mean, had things shut down. Damn, there was one more scripture I wanted to get. But if we wasn't in hell, we would be able to, you know what I mean, have that day off. You know what I mean, but we in hell, and you got an oppressor who is a cruel, disgusting overlord over you. You know what I mean? Or like you know what I mean, like we were saying earlier, Donald Trump will take everything from you. You got brothers and sisters, and even his own people, you know what I mean, working during the shutdown, had them working for free and was you know what I mean, considering not even giving them back pay. I don't know if they getting paid, they ain't getting that back pay. Not even you sitting there working for free in this hell, and then on top of that, he take away, you know what I mean, the assistance that he was giving the lowest, you know what I mean, the poorest in this country, thinking that he's hurting black Hispanics and Native Americans. You know what I mean, and your oppressor was all for it whole time when he shut all of that down. When he you know what I mean, taking people's salaries and got them working for free, and then he take away your government assistance. You know what I mean, whole time it's your oppressor that's in those food pantry lines because they don't have food stamps no more. You know what I mean, but in that Christian church, they teach you to forgive them. You got to forgive Donald Trump, and you know what I mean, you just got to every you know what I mean, voting cycle, every election cycle, you know what I mean, they urge you to go in that voting booth and vote for these people, the Democrats or Republicans or left wing or right wing, or you know what I mean, they urge you to go and vote, and then it bites you in the behind. But when Christ say this, you know what I mean, when Christ say that the Sabbath is for you, then somehow your Christian pastors and your Christian Israelite groups miss that. It's because if the Sabbath is for you, they can't hurt you for, you know what I mean, for having the heat on in your home. They can't hurt you for starting your car up and running the heat. You know what I mean? They can't hurt you. So of course they overlook that. Let's see. Slovakia. Let's go to First Maccabees real quick in the Apocrypha. First Maccabees 2 and First Maccabees 2 and started around verse 40. Go to verse 30.
How you get to the
36.
bottom on this out?
All the way at the bottom. All the way at the bottom. Or just hit a oh wait, actually go ahead. Then the verses is scroll down.
First Maccabees
2 and start at verse 35. Verse 34.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 34. But they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandments to profane the Sabbath day.
So this is the same mind state of these, you know what I mean, these Christian Israelite groups, where we don't want to. This is an excuse for, you know what I mean, brothers and sisters to be weak, right? And not, you know what I mean, because this is a time where we in hell, we in captivity. Our you know what I mean, our holy place has been profaned. We didn't, I mean, they didn't overturn our, you know what I mean, they didn't destroyed our temples. They didn't, you know what I mean, ransacked our you know what I mean, our nation. they didn't put us in captivity, much like you see today. You know what I mean? And there was a group of, you know what I mean, there was a group of radical Black, Hispanic, and Native American brothers. You know what I mean? There was a group of brothers who was, you know what I mean, who stood up and you know what I mean, decided that they was gonna fight for, you know what I mean, fight against their oppressor, right? But there was some for the sake of the Sabbath day, because we can't do no serve out, we can't do no work. We can't do no work on the Sabbath day. Go ahead.
Verse 35. So then they gave them the battle with all speed.
Go ahead.
Verse 36. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast thy a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they laid hid.
So these brothers decided that they wasn't gonna fight. They was just gonna stand there and just read what it says in 37.
But said, let us die, all in your innocence. Heaven and in earth will testify for us. Then ye put us to death wrongful.
So this is the plan, and this is the plan that they had. It was like, we just gonna stand here and we just gonna die. You know what I mean? We just gonna stand here and we just gonna lose our lives and let them, you know what I mean? The whole time we supposed to be defending the people, the women and the children and the elderly. We supposed to be the ones that's able-bodied and able to fight. You know what I mean? They decided to stand there and die for the sake of not profaning the Sabbath day. You know what I mean? Because in their mind, like these Christian Israelite groups think, in their mind, you know what I mean, self-defense for whatever reason, I guess, is serve our work. Go ahead.
Verse 38. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle, to the number of 1,000 people.
Would it have been unlawful for them to fight and defend those wives and children, you know what I mean, that they went out there to do in the first place? That's how your Christian pastor, that's how these Christian Israelite groups think. That's what they would have you believe. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Verse 39. Now when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore.
Go ahead.
Verse 40. And one of them said unto another, if we all do as our brethren have done,
right,
and fight not for our lives, and law against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth.
See, this is what Commander General Yohana and the brothers that he raises up in ISUPK understand. If we don't do what we do, if we don't go out there and do the work of the Lord on the Sabbath, if we don't go out there and do clothes drives and food drives, even on the Sabbath, if we don't fire up the grill and invite brothers and sisters to come to the school and chop it up with us, give them a hot meal when they've been eating little to nothing all week, you know what I mean? Then what Commander General Yohana understands is, if we don't do those things, then our brothers and sisters are gonna be quickly rooted out of the earth. If we don't go to, you know what I mean, to the borders with them, you know what I mean, with our Haitian and Venezuelan brothers, and give them food and clothes and supplies, if we don't feed our people, then our oppressor, you know what I mean, Donald Trump is gonna continue to persecute the hell out of our brothers. If we don't feed our brothers and sisters when Donald Trump is taking away your salary and taking away your government assistance that you lean on to be able to make it to the day, then our people are gonna be quickly rooted out of the earth. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Verse 41. At that time, therefore, they decree, saying, whatsoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him, neither will we die all, as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places.
See, these brothers right here, they saw what happened to those brothers that decided that they wasn't gonna fight and defend the women and the children. You know what I mean? They saw what happened to them, and they was like, we're not gonna go out like that. We're gonna fight on the Sabbath. You know what I mean? And if you this is what, okay, so for these Christian Israelites, you know what I mean, if that's what you know what I mean, you want to, because it's, I mean, if you want to eat cold sandwiches, it's no law against eating cold sandwiches. If you want to eat cold sandwiches and sit in the cold, I mean, it's free country. You know what I mean? We're not like you. You know what I mean? We're not gonna persecute you and kick in your door and scream at you on, you know what I mean, about, you know what I mean, you want to eat cold cuts on Saturday. You know what I mean? It's up, you can eat cold because you don't have to eat, you know what I mean? You ain't gotta fire up the grill, you don't have to turn the stove on if you don't want to. But just know that you thinking that you can't, it just shows that you're weak. You're weak. And it's, you know, if you want to be weak, no sweat. No sweat. Until you decide to put some strength on and actually follow the man that the Most High put on this earth to be the authority over his people. Until you decide to gird up your loins and follow Commander General Yohana and come into the ISUPK and put down that you know what I mean, those this evil destructive doctrine that you teach your people. You know what I mean? Until you do that, you know what I mean, we'll be strong for you. I mean, we'll be right here feeding the people. We'll be right here every Saturday feeding the people. I mean, we'll go to camp every Saturday and wake our people up, you know what I mean, and teach them even on the Sabbath day. You know what I mean? So that when you don't feed them on the Sabbath day, when you don't feed them, they'll have somebody have somebody to be able to feed them so that they don't starve and so that they're not rooted out of the earth. All right. So there ain't no questions or comments in the chat. Okay, no sweat. All right, with that, you know, go ahead, pass the class to Precinct Officer Tapazar for the security announcements. Give him a hand. You got the camera.
These are the ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. The book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashara, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, given to the treasury department or teacher, priest fund, a free will offering for a priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Up and coming holy convocations. We have the Feast of Dedication, which is how you pronounce it properly? Hanukkah. The 25th day of the 9th month by the space of 8 days, which is Sunday the 14th, December 2025 for 8 days. You can find this feast of this convocation and feast day in the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 52 through 61. Remind Akim and Akwathian to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headbands, and scarf. And this concludes the ISUPK security announcements.
Say Imajim, which means to stand. Just give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Individual Major Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yahaba, Yadimata, Sar. Turn and face the sister. Go give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Individual Major Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yahaba, Shemal, Latham, Shimi, Yamashah. Yadimata, Glass Systems.